So, welcome to the first Success Meetup of 2023. So, I'm just realizing I'm pretty excited to be the first one. My name's Christina Hampton. I am the senior product trainer here at Inside Real Estate, and I love trading. I grew up around real estate. Parents, grandparents, siblings, all real estate agents. Well, half my siblings. And I was working at a brokerage training tools and technology, and the right fit for me was just to come here at Inside Real Estate so I could train lots of people on different tools and different technologies. So that's what brings me here today. Today's session is being recorded, and you can catch the recording on our YouTube channel. When I am chatting to you, here is the playlist. So anyone attending live, you can grab that link, and that's specifically the playlist for the Success Meetups. Our channel has other things on it too. You might want to check that out, but that's the link specifically for this playlist. If you're watching the replay, I'm leaving this screen up for a while on purpose. You can scan that QR code. That way you know how to register in the future. That's going to take you straight to our registration page. You can also register here within KV Core in our live training calendar. So that's a great way to schedule and register as well. You can register for just one, or you can register for all of our sessions, and they are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Now, the only place that we really put the actual specific topic is within our Facebook group. So let me chat that out. And to anyone who is watching the replay, so you can't see the links, it is Inside Real Estate, because that's our company, Inside Real Estate. So insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. That will take you there. I realize for those of you attending live, that's not the same link I chatted out, goes it forwards and all that good stuff. But insiderealestate.com/Facebook group, you'll be able to find our Facebook group, which looks like this. Lots of good places, and you can see here our featured posts where we do post the topic for the upcoming week. All right, so that's our housekeeping. That's kind of that out of the way. Everyone who's live, I'm going to change the settings so you can unmute yourself. Don't feel like you have to. So we have a set topic for the first 20, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how the questions go. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to interrupt. Feel free to raise your hand. Feel free to put questions in chat or Q&A. However you want to communicate is just fine with me. But we do stay on topic for the first couple minutes, and then we'll branch out to whatever it is that you want to talk about. So that's what we're doing today. So lead CPR. What is it? So lead CPR is the process of breathing life into your leads, your contacts, your database, however you want to refer to them. That's the process. Okay. Now, you might also have heard it called the goal of CPR is to get people to engage with you, right? So there are people who are, you might have them on some automation, you might already have them kind of powered up like that, or they might just be sitting in there and you haven't talked to them in 2 years, or they might just be new leads. Whatever the audience is, any of those people, you can perform CPR on them. The goal is to quick touch out there so that way they engage with you and communicate with you. That's the goal of lead CPR. Our trainers will sometimes call it poke the bear, and we'll also sometimes call it the 1-2 punch. And so all of this works together because you don't want to do just one singular thing. That's what we'll talk about today. So you don't want to just email them, because what if they gave you their junk email, right? What if they never check it? What if usually our automated validation will check if there's like a misspelling, like in the word Gmail or msn.com. We can catch those misspellings, and we can usually verify if it's a real email address or not with our validation. But you don't want to just email someone. A good tactic when you're communicating with leads who are not yet your actual clients is to give them lots of options on how they respond back to you, right? You don't know yet if they are prefer emails, if they prefer text messages, if they prefer phone calls, that kind of a thing. I, depending on what I'm doing, sometimes really prefer emails. And so I know I'm a little old school like that. Most people like text messages, but especially if I'm sharing it with someone else, I like emails. And so you wouldn't know that unless you like gave me that opportunity. I almost never respond to text messages, but I'll respond more likely to emails that actually come my way. I know I'm old school, but um, so that's, the 1-2 punch, right? Don't just email them, but email and text them. Or there's a variety of 1-2 punch combinations you can do, right? You could email them and then call them. You can, text them and call them. You can call them and then schedule a call. So all kinds of varieties of this 1-2 punch. The idea again is, all of these things, they all work together. Poke the bear, lead CPR. But the idea is I'm going to reach out to you not just once, more than once, right? To kind of poke you and get a response, get you to engage with me. So depending on your trainer, you'll hear us call it all of these things. So lead CPR, poke the bear, 1-2 punch. We mean it all in the same way. But the idea is to get your contacts to engage with you. It's a short-term, concentrated effort to get them to engage. And so as you're doing this lead CPR, you want to think about, okay, so how do I do this, right? So first you're going to find your who, and we're going to look through this. And you can use your smart CRM filters to help you find your who or your audience in your contact list. You can even save your filters so that way you can come back to them. So perhaps you decide your who and it's like 500 people. Well, you might not want to do CPR to all 500 people in one day. So that's fine. Save that filter and then, come back to it. Today I'm going to do my first page of people. And then next week I'll do my second page of people, and the third week, and so on and so forth, right? So decide who you're going to reach out to and save filters so it's easy for you to kind of complete the whole CPR process. And then you also want to find your what. What do you want to communicate with them? Which of the templates are you going to use? So I like to keep a little list of my favorite templates on like a post-it note, because again, I'm old school, or even just like a Google Doc. I'm going to be more modern, and I would put it on a Google Doc, so that way I can access it wherever I am. You could even, if you're using the mobile app, you can save like your favorite text messages as templates. And you can make your own too. Like if this is getting your creative juices flowing and you kind of already have an idea of who and what you want to say, you don't have to use our templates. I also want to make a note that I put this in your who and then your what. You might find it easier to look through the templates, find a couple of your favorite, and then go see who that applies to. So feel free to mix step 1 and step 2 around. Either way, we're finding an audience and communicating to them to like get a response from them. Okay. And then you want to decide how you're going to follow up. Is my CPR, am I going to, apply a hashtag to these people, right? So it's save my filters, apply a hashtag, because then I can find them on the mobile app and dial through that list of people. That might be part of my CPR, right? I might breathe my life into them and then do a follow-up the next day of a phone call. Or I might get advanced and start a smart campaign. Some people like that idea. If I was going to sit down and really make a campaign for this, that might even be easier. Just like hashtag CPR and then just like a 4-step campaign and add that to 30 people a week, right? If I just do that, that it's doing this whole CPR process for me, right? and just mass communication in general, right? Finding your target people, so that way when you want to do the CPR, it's easy for you to find them. So that's CPR in a nutshell, right? Find your who, find your what, and decide how you're going to continue to follow up with them after. It could be I do my CPR to these 30 people, and if they don't respond to me by the end of the week, I'm just going to add them into my sphere and then put them on a Sphere Smart campaign, right? I might choose to archive them. Personally, that would not be my choice. I might add them into, like, if my office has a pond, I might throw leads into the pond so other agents could work them, right? But I want to think about, after I do the CPR, what's my next process, right? So who, what, and how will you follow up with those people after the CPR is completed? So let's look at what that looks like in real life, aka KV Core. So as I'm in KV Core, right, we want to decide, uh, find our either our who or our what first. So go ahead and chat in, or someone unmute yourself and be brave. What would you rather see first, the who or the what?
The who.
The who, perfect. All right, I like it. Thank you. So the who, Todd, the who, we go to our smart CRM. And in our smart CRM, this is where all of our leads live, right? And so as our leads are here, everyone's database is going to be organized differently. So I'm going to send you one of my all-time favorite articles in the whole wide world. You can find all of our articles in the support and training section, but if you've ever done a training with me, you probably already have this. For those of you who are watching the replay, I chatted out a link to this article, the KV Core Dictionary. So all articles, click on support and training, search through the articles. You can also ask support. But in this dictionary, this tells you a lot of good terminology, and it tells you things like the basic categories of your leads and your contacts. So these are just some things to think about. As we look at our KV Core. So I'm going to walk you through, there's a whole bunch of information right here. These are your columns. So there's the first name of your contact, the last name of your contact, the status of your contact. In case you didn't know, you could actually change statuses right from here if you wanted to. That's just a little bonus, not really related to today, but I'd like to point that out. There's star rating. So this is based on some automation within KV Core. We look at things like, are they responding to you? Did they click on ads? How often are they on your website? And we update this, we update this star rating. So this is an automatically updated star rating. That's pretty cool as well. I'm going to send you this article to the lead star rating system overview. So again, if you're watching the replay, you can get this yourself right from the support articles. And then you have your activity. So I can see right here with Christine, they didn't give me a phone number. So I don't have any phone interaction with them. I have sent them to emails and no text messaging. So I just get kind of an overview here. Here I've got 4 emails and a phone call, so I can get an overview of what's going on. Their location and interest. This is the property that they might be interested in based on their search alerts. Last visit. When's the last time they visited your KV Core website? I'm going to say this again because it's going to come up. Last visit is the last time they visited your KV Core website. Last phone call. Now, this is the last call that you have logged in KV Core. So that could be that you logged the call, you could have used the mobile dialer or the smart number to make your call, but we only know the things that are in KV Core. Created, so how old is this lead or contact to begin with? Where did they come from? Do you have another scheduled action? Like, did you schedule any tasks for them? Something like that. So those are my columns. There's more columns. I can also hide columns if I find that's like too many and I don't need them. I can just hide them away. And then the number of rows here is how many people I'm viewing at once. Not only viewing, but also communicating with. So my demo account, I'm stuck at 10, but you can go all the way up to 250. I used to have the increments in there memorized. I apologize that I don't anymore. It's like 10, I think it's 25, 50, 100, and 250. Do not quote me on that, but it's definitely 10 to 250, somewhere in there. So the importance of the columns is how many people I'm looking at and how many people I'm mass communicating with. So if you're taking notes, write that down. That columns is going to allow you to decide how many people you're performing the CPR on at one time. I had a question in the Q&A, so let's see. Okay, we're going to pause on those questions until we're done with our scheduled content, and then we'll circle back to those questions because they're all good, but not on topic. Todd, did you raise your hand? Did someone raise their hand?
I did. I'm wondering, is the row, I think you're pointing to rows, but you're saying columns.
Oh my gosh. Well, columns, you're right. I probably mixed. So there's columns, which is like created as a column, source is a column, next action is a column. And then rows is how many people are here. So Christine is a row.
Perfect.
Kennedy is a row. So I may have misspoken. I'm not sure.
Just checking.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for clarifying in case I did say that incorrectly. Yes, so column is the topic and rows is the rows is the number of contacts that we're looking at and we're communicating with. So, and I had a couple late attendees show up. I'm not going to call you out, no worries, but I am going to allow you to talk. So you're going to see a quick pop-up that says I'm asking you to talk. Not necessarily asking, but feel free to. And if you are in a noisy spot, please leave yourself muted. All righty. Okay, so in our Smart CRM, are any of these jumping out to you already as a potential who for lead CPR? Raise your hand, say yes or no, chat in any answers. Okay, couple things, just looking at my columns that are available to me that are people I might want to reach out to, right? Because remember the point of, well, there's a lot of points to KV Core, but the point of a CRM is a contact relationship manager. And one of the big benefits of using KV Core is that you can automate a lot of that relationship. You can automate a lot of the follow-up and things like that. So something to think about, right? The point of KV Core is, or one of the big benefits is that I can automate a lot of things, right? A traditional CRM, we can keep track of things. That's great. We definitely want to do that. But what can we automate in here? Also, a big benefit and feature of KV Core is that it's tied into website. So for me, just two things like really easy that I might do some CPR with would be someone who's never visited my website, right? So this last visit column are people who have been to your website, right? So if it says this dash, that means they've never been there. So if I click on this column header here, this last visit, it's going to show me first the most recent person, right? I don't need to do CPR on them. They've got fresh life in them. But if I click it a second time, it reorders and it's going to show me all the people who have never been to my site. So this is one specific group or audience of people I might want to perform CPR on. Okay, so that's one thing to think about. So now that I have an audience of people, I decide how many people I want to communicate with. So I adjust my rows accordingly. If I'm just trying this out, I might just stick with 10, or I might just stick with 20. I might say, okay, this is a good first detail, but I also might want to get more specific with my filters, right? So I might say prospects, new leads, and active leads, and apply that filter. And then people who've never been to my website, right? So I've got, see how many pages I take up. And mine's a demo account, so most of these people have not been to my website, but you can see how many people have never been just by scrolling through, like next, next, next. Okay, and then now our next step is to decide what we're going to send them. We found our who. Now we're going to decide what to send them. So my goal here is to get them on my website, right? That might be my goal. Um, I could I could get really nitty gritty. Like that's not the point of lead CPR in general. The poke the bear, the 1-2 punch, the idea with that is it's quick. Okay. You can get really in depth. I can go person by person by person, call them, put them on a specific tailored search alert. I absolutely can do something like that. That's not the point of this. The point of CPR, the point of poke the bear is just kind of like throughout those lines and see who follows back up with you. So here I have my prospects, new leads, and active leads. And I have a list of 10 people who have never been to my website. So I'm going to start with these people. Now that I've found who, I'm going to decide what I send to them. So I'm going to find a mass email, and I might peruse around these emails to see which one is going to get them to look at my website. Okay. So there's a couple good ones if your goal is to get them to look at your website. One, and I'm going to chat all these out. Um, oh, yeah, if you're late, no worries. Someone chatted that in. Totally fine. If you were late, no worries at all. I just realized, hey, there's a lot of people I didn't give permission to talk to. And so I wanted to give permission to those people. No worries. Glad you're here. That's the most important thing. These are really casual. If this is your first one, Melissa, we start out with a topic and then open it to an open Q&A. So either way, you are good to go. Okay, so my goal with these contacts is to get them on my website. Perfect, welcome aboard. So I'm gonna look at some templates that have them go to my website. Now you can write these down. I'm gonna chat them out to you. So if you are attending live, you can just see the ones I'm chatting. But if you're watching the replay, write these down. So one is called website improvements. Its real name is much longer than that, default sphere renter website improvements. But if you just type in website improvements, that will give you this email template. I really like this one because it's good for pretty much anyone. It says it's for your sphere, right? It's your default sphere, but you could send this to anyone. Hi, first name. I've made some changes to my website to make it even easier to find a great property. Can you check it out and let me know what you think? And then it has a link to your site, right? That's our goal, right? Our goal is to get them to engage and to, in this case, get them on my website. Right? So I might send them this one, the website improvements. Another one that I like a lot, and I do want to point out, right? I've made some changes to my website. Have you made changes to your website? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. There's all kinds of free customizations. There's paid custom. There's so many customizations you can do to your site, but they've never been on your site. So they don't know, right? And so I send this to everyone, whether I'm new to KV Core, been there forever, it doesn't matter. I would send this to anyone who's never been on my website, right? So this is one template that I really like. It's called Website Improvements. Okay. Now, another one that I really like is called the Imported Leads. And I'm jotting down a list for you. Okay. And it's called imported leads. All you need to type down is imported leads or just imported even. And so there's the default. This is a really good one as well. Hi, first name. So it inserts their first name. As I always strive to provide the best customer service, I've decided to adopt new technology and do a spring cleaning of my database. I am reaching out to everyone I've helped, showed houses to, or discussed real estate needs with throughout the many years that I've been in business. It would be extremely helpful if you could let me know where you are in the process. So I love this one because these next questions, are you actively searching or to purchase or sell and you need assistance? Are you planning to resume your search in the near future? Did you already buy or sell and you don't want to think about it? I love this because these are our statuses of our contacts. So this is really good for like cold leads or people that you have no idea what to do with them. Send them this one because this one asks them where they're at, right? The first one I showed you, website improvements, good. I would send it to everyone. But if you don't know where they are and how you can help them, send them this one. This one's even better. So they're both good. So further, my new website directly connects you to my MLS to view 100% of all currently available listings, as well as my off-market listings too. Check it out here, and it has a link to your site. Okay. Rosetta, at the end, please show how to see contacts that have never been to the site. Absolutely. So it's right in the Smart CRM, and there's this column here that says last visit. So anyone who has this line means they have never been to your website, or they've never done anything trackable on your site, I should say. They've never been there and registered. That's a good clarifier. They've never been there and registered on your site. So maybe they only check out your blogs, which is great. Maybe they look at a property and then run away. It's fine. So these are people who've never registered. Yeah, good question. So those are two emails that are really good for the one, right? We need a 1-2 punch. So what I really like, I don't want to have to remember to do this, is to one, send out an email. That website improvements, or let me chat this one out to you, imported leads default email. Okay. And then I like to immediately do my second punch, which is a mass text. Now, we don't have a template that says this. I would probably create this template, something that simply says, hi, insert your lead's first name. So hi, first name. I just sent you an email about, right? I just sent you an email about XYZ. Did you get it? Short, sweet, something you would send as a text. You know, hey, Pamela, I just sent you a text message about market updates. Did you get it? Hey, Lindsay, I just sent you an email about the next HOA meeting. Are you interested in getting that kind of thing via email? Right. So, hey, I just sent you an email about whatever it is, and then ask them a question because remember, the point of our CPR is to get them to engage with us, and questions are the best way to do that. So I just sent you an email about my new website updates. Did you get it? And so that's my lead CPR. I send them an email and then I send them a text that looks just like this. Okay. So that was one example of CPR. And then my final step of CPR, I found my who, I found out what I wanted to tell them, and now I need to figure out how to continue to engage with them afterwards, right? And so I can do that in a lot of ways. I can filter for that. I can look at an individual person, and this is where it kind of depends on you and how you have your KV course set up. We have started talking a lot about getting your leads powered up, meaning that they are getting engaged with automatically. They are getting search alerts and market reports and smart campaigns. So the system is like really functioning. Now, some of you are all in on that automation. And in that case, when you do lead CPR, you already know you're following up with your leads, right? You're like, okay, good. CPR is just like extra. It's breathing some extra life in there, right? And that's a whole other webinar that we can and have and will do again on unengaged leads, which is this stuff right here. So behavior and this. So if you know that your leads are all set up, they're all ready to go, they're all, firing on all cylinders, when you do your lead CPR, it's like icing on the cake, right? You're going to get a response from whoever you get a response from, and they're going to move on with your life, and that's fine. If you have not gone through and kind of set all these people up, right? Then you want to do that, right? And this can be a good way to do that, right? So another audience that I might find for my lead CPR is I might go to my filters and I might see who is unengaged, right? I might come in here and see, okay, who's not on search alerts. I'd send them something really similar, send them something to get them to my website, right? No search alerts. And now I might be more specific. For me, it's my buyers who are not on search alerts. That's who I care about. So I found my buyers here, no search alerts. I don't have a whole lot. Oh, 35. Okay, I have a good number here. And I am going to mass email them. Now, in this case, I might just send them a property that I'm interested in, right? I might do a featured property of the week, right? Now, we don't have a template for this. You might want to make one, or you could just write an email, but something like subject line featured property of the week. Hey, lead's first name. I'm starting to send out a featured property of the week. This week's featured property is 123 Main Street. And then I'm going to link to that property on my site. And the reason I'm going to link to that property on my site is so that way, again, when they go to my website, it has them register, and now we can set them up on search alerts. Now we know they've been to my website, all kinds of fun things like that. You could get advanced and make this a squeeze page or a landing page. You don't have to go that advanced if you want to or don't want to. I kind of geek out on stuff like that. So I might go really advanced and say, this week's featured property is 123 Main Street. Click here for more details. Make that a squeeze page. So that way I can, put them on a tailored search, all kinds of fancy pants stuff. For today, this week's featured property is 123 Main Street. I'm going to grab a link from my website. So I picked any listing, right? So in real life, I would pick a real, 123 Main Street. See more details here. Right, link to that. And then I might put, we have these cool merge tags of listing information. So since I'm doing a featured property, I would probably do that. I'd probably do, where's the image? There we go. Primary image. Whew, I went right by that. Because now I can do an MLS ID. So I take this MLS ID, I put that right in there, and then I don't even need to do the address. This week's featured property is listing street address. See more details here. And even this, I could have just done a merge tag link, right? I've chosen this property because reason A, reason B, reason C. If you'd like to get these every week, simply let me know. Or if you'd like to get these every week, reply back with the phrase weekly and send that on its way, right? So this is lead CPR because I'm asking them to engage with me. I am getting them to my website. So they're going to get on search alerts if they get on that. Now, what I would do if I wanted to get really advanced is anyone who responds with weekly, they're now going to get hashtag, weekly property or property of the week. And so then I can keep up with this as my follow-up system. Because remember, CPR, we've got three things. We're finding out our who's my audience, who am I talking to? We're finding out what do I want to send them, right? So what templates am I utilizing? And then how am I going to continue to follow up with them? Right. So that way I don't forget about them. So that's another kind of CPR. Find people not on search alerts and get a creative way to get them on search alerts, right? Hey, here's my featured property of the week. Excellent, great, cool. Let me hashtag you. Now I'm sending you a manual property alert, but you might also get put on automated ones if you search around on my website. So again, CPR, getting some interaction with them. Now, the second step, remember my 1-2 punch. I emailed, I'm going to text, and I'm going to say, hey, I just sent you an email about my weekly property. Respond back, right? Let me know if you want to get on that. Are you interested in that kind of thing? Would you prefer it sent via text? Because I can do that too. Dennis, my screen doesn't have agent next to the owner column. So Dennis, if you look at your columns, over here on the right, this like column menu, you can add and remove additional columns. So like if I remove agent, because in my case, I'm in my agent account. So like they're all mine anyway. So that's just taking up space. But I might like the column, the owned by column, which I do because, okay, this is a training team lead. I got this because of the team that I'm on. So while it's my lead that I'm working, I didn't generate this lead. This is my lead that I generated. This is a lead from the company. And so, I'm in my demo account, our company and our team both do, demo leads and pass them out. They're all fake people. If you are not in an organization that does that, then you can, remove that column or not add that column. This estimated revenue can be really good if you have people on like really tailored specific search alerts, because that's going to go based on the search alerts that you have them on. And of course, none of my people are on search alerts. So based on their search alerts, what's their estimated revenue? That makes a lot of assumptions, just so you know, like average 3%, that kind of thing. But I do like that column if you have specific search alerts. If you're working with lenders in the system, if you're only working with one, you don't need that lender column. But if you're working with a variety of lenders, it might be helpful to see kind of which lender is which, who's with what. Okay, so those are two examples of people of your audience. Who are you sending this to? We looked at people never on your website, right? And we engaged them with the attempt to get them on our website and to talk to us. We looked at people who are not on search alerts. We could also look at people, if I go back to my behavior, which is my favorite section here, and see who does not have a running campaign. If you're not sure what filter to pick, this is my recommended filter. Okay, people that are not on running campaigns because they're not getting that personal communication from you unless you're manually doing it, right? So maybe I manually send out a newsletter every month. That's different, right? But if you're our normal agent user, our standard user, if your people are not on a smart campaign, they are not getting relationship building communication. You are not calling them. They are not getting text messages from you. So this is the one that you should do, okay? Does not have a running campaign. This is a great group of people to breathe some CPR in. If you have had KV Core and you're like, I'm not fully seeing the benefit, it's probably because you don't have a lot of people on smart campaigns. And so this is a great way to make sure you're seeing benefit of the system. So does not have a running campaign. You can get more specific and like layer that in with your status. You can layer it in with deal types and hashtag, all kinds of layers, right? I'm just keeping it basic. For me, I don't put my contracts or clients on smart campaigns because I talk to them on a regular basis. So for me, I am going to select all of the other statuses and apply that filter. Now, this is a scenario. See, I have 119 people. So thinking about how you want to follow up with them, it could be as simple as, okay, I'm going to do 10 people a day, or I'm going to do 20 people a day. I'm going to CPR them. And then if I don't get a response from those people, I'm going to put them on a smart campaign by the end of the week, right? This is really good for like if you have cold leads in here, do some CPR, and at the end of the week, put them in your sphere, put them on your sphere smart campaign. If you have got all these active leads, like these are people who have talked to me at some point, right? So if I'm not communicating with them, I'm missing out. So I've got all these people and same thing. So I'm going to reach out to them. So I might get more specific. I don't have to, but I can. So I might reach out just to see if they want to go see houses, right? So if that's what I'm going to send, I'll probably not do my sphere or my closed, right? But my goal here is to get them to engage with me and to put them on a smart campaign. That's my goal here. Okay. So I'm going to select everyone on my page, which in my case is 10. So now I'm down to 71. So if I do 10 people a day, this will take me a week. That's not bad, right? Maybe give myself 10 days because I deserve a day off. So that might be my goal. Okay. I'm going to reach all 71 of these people by the 11th of January, whatever day. So I have my people, I'm going to mass email them. These are people I'm not really talking to. So I could send them that lead import. What I do like, there's one in here. I think there's one called like Got Time. Here we go. Look at properties next week. Hello there. Just checking in to see if you'd like to look at some properties with me sometime. Will you be around in the coming week? Right. So this is buyer. Look at properties. Okay. Buyer, look at properties. That's a good one. I'm going to jot that down for us on our list. Okay. Another good one that I like, still in the market. Right? Are you still in the market for a new place to live? If so, I'd love to take a few minutes to see how I can help. I've got some time in the next couple days we can chat. Does morning or afternoon work well for you? So I can jot that one too. Buyer, still in the market. And again, anytime I send an email, I'm going to complete it with the second punch and send a text message. Hey, did you get my email about XYZ? What did you think? Did you get I just sent you an email about XYZ. Are you interested in that kind of a thing? Right? So give them an opportunity to respond to you. You could also call them. A really cool thing on KB Core is if I click the first person on the list, there's this next button in the top right corner. So I might choose that my CPR for the day is more like maybe I'm just doing phone calls. Maybe I'm in a phone call contest with my office. So I'm going to call this person and then go to the next line, call this person and go to the next, call this person and go to the next, and so on and so forth. Okay. So lead CPR, super cool. Decide who you want to talk to, what you want to send to them, and what your follow-up technique is going to be, right? To make sure no one falls through the cracks. I can continue talking about this for hours and hours, but there are some other questions that came in. Oh, Witty, sorry, apologize, I missed your question. If somebody has never been on your website, how are they classified as an active lead? So great question. So when we look at the status of active lead, the definition there, if we look at our dictionary and look at our status, an active lead is someone who is communicating with you. And so they don't maybe they've never been on your website, but they call you back, they text you back, they email you back, right? Especially if you're someone who is new to KV Core, like you're transitioning over from another CRM. That's where a lot of active leads might come from. If I have another CRM, I do my bulk import. These are my people who are actively talking to me, but they're not yet my clients. That would be one way the main way that people are active leads. Is there an auto dialer? There is on our mobile app. So our mobile app will serve you up lists of people to call, and you click dial or you click call or you click go, and then it starts to dial. It counts down 5 4 3 2 1. You can change that number to a different number, 5 4 3 2 1, or just dial right away or count down from 10. But it'll call, and then it'll have you log your notes and then just start the next call right away. So it just like, it's not one of the ones that does like a multi-line, and then if someone answers, it connects. It's not like that. It's like, here's your list. You call one, and then you just keep going through the list until you click end. So you're like, okay, I'm done. My appointment's here, or something like that. Now, the lists that you can create, we have a bunch served up ready for you. They're like your new leads that are about to go inactive, leads that are the ones that are already scheduled in your dashboards, like today's calls. You can also like save this filter here. So I could say, maybe my goal is to talk to everyone in my active leads who has a phone number, right? Has a phone number. So I can save this filter. So this is active leads with a phone number. And once I save this filter, it now becomes a list in my mobile dialer. Now I can also filter within my mobile dialer. I kind of like this filter look a little better. So I would do this filter in here, save the filter here, open up my phone and make my phone calls. But we've already talked about, I'm a little old school with my paper notes and stuff. So you might just prefer to filter and sort on the app. There's another good thing for CPR. So I would say the two big audiences to look for are people who are kind of cold, right? And I use quotes on that. So people who are not being nurtured by the system. So that's no search alerts, no market reports, no campaigns. They've never been to your website. You've never called them. That was going to be one of my next ones. So people who just, the communication just isn't there yet. So that's one good group of CPR. And another good group of CPR is people that you don't know. So for example, if I look at my contact details, I can see a whole list of people that do not have hashtags. And if they don't have hashtags, to me, that means I don't know anything about them. So, because I add hashtags as I get to know you, and my lead sources have hashtags in you as well. So if I don't have a hashtag on you, I don't know. I don't know your time frame. I don't know your motivation. I don't know anything about you. So for my active leads, I've got 4 of you. So I'm going to call these people. And then my second part of the CPR is I'm going to maybe hit them up with like a core video if I have that paid version, or individually if I don't have the paid version. Right? So all these people are good CPR, right? The point of CPR is it's like a short, concentrated effort, and you just respond to the people who respond back to you, and whoever doesn't, that's okay too. Yeah. Can you use another phone other than your cell phone? Guy, so the numbers, so you can use not for the auto dialer. So specifically not for the auto dialer. The auto dialer, well, let me rephrase that. The auto dialer is an app that you download on your phone. So it can be any phone that you download that app on. The other way to make calls through KV Core is, let's see, if someone is scheduled for me on my dashboard and I just click call. There we go. And this call now option is going to utilize the smart number. So the smart number will call whatever number I have in my profile. And then we kind of like 3-way call the lead. That's how that process works. So it depends on what you have in your profile, which is probably your cell phone. So yeah. Erica, how often do search alerts go out? It depends on what you have it set for. So let's see, Kennedy here, who probably doesn't have an alert. You can set alerts to go out ASAP, so once it hits KV Core, once a day, twice a week, once a week, twice a month, or monthly, or never. Like if it's someone who is really specific and you want KV Core to like find a group for you and then like you'll just manually send them, you could do that too. Good question. All right, an anonymous attendee asked a question in the Q&A a while ago, but they were off topic. So I hope you're still here because you put anonymous, so I don't know if you're here or not. So in the Q&A, so question 1, how to confirm the brokerage has activated lead privacy for office admins, and also does the brokerage have any kind of access to our database like leads? So that is our lead privacy. So let me chat you an article about that. The easiest way to know if your account has privacy on, which a quick note, most do. Most accounts have lead privacy turned on. So I'm looking at this article, the lead privacy overview and FAQ. So that's what privacy is, okay? Now, the easiest way to know if your account has it on is to look in your profile. And if you look at your settings option, you'll have this lead privacy section. So if your account has lead privacy on, you will have this lead privacy section, right? And so again, most of you are going to have lead privacy on. You don't need to do anything. It's already private because the leads that you bring into the system are your leads. They're private to you. So that's where we talked about this ownership over here, right? Anything that's owned by me, my admins cannot see that if I have my privacy on. So like I can see Tiffany and Bob and my Christina testing recruit and Jamie here. I can see them because they're my leads. But when my admin comes in, they see that Christina Hampton has a lead and they can see I've emailed her twice, but they cannot see her email address like I can, and they just see private lead. Okay, so good question. Does the brokerage have any kind of access to your database? Nope. So whether you do your bulk import, whether it's a landing page lead, whether it's something you went and purchased from the marketplace, if you have privacy on, then anything that you generate is your private lead, right? So with this, I showed that I had some company leads so they can see those, right? Because they generated those leads, whether they paid for them or did a landing page or whatever, but they paid for those so they can see those. Let's see, another way to kind of tell really quickly, if I look at Kennedy here, here we go, make contact visible. So that's like turning off privacy for that individual lead. So that would be another way. Question 2, if we bulk upload leads into the system, can we feed team members those leads in a slow sequential manner? So if you do your bulk import, what you would want to do is you could either, if you wanted to do a slow sequential manner, not without manual work. So you can bulk import them into a pond so people go fishing for them. You can bulk import them and assign them all to yourself, and then like 10 people a day assign them out. So that would be like a slow sequential manner, but the bulk import is like all at once. So there's not really, you would have to manually either put that into a pond, so it's not manual, or just assign them all out at once, or assign them all to yourself, and then you need to manually go and assign them out throughout the day. Question 3, are there any examples of pre-construction landing pages in KV Core? I don't think so. We do have a bunch of examples. I would suggest for you that you go to, so we have this one, lead generation landing page ideas, but I would honestly go to the Facebook group, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. So our company, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group, and I would ask there because we have just some like ideas here. But yeah, looks like we don't really have any like examples of pre-construction to show off. One of our landing page backgrounds is pretty construction-y. So, new construction. So like I'd probably do this background. That's probably what you want. Or I also like, there's this one here that I really like. That's like these home buyers. So just kind of like dreaming of the future. So that might be a good background too. And question 4, some of the products in the marketplace do not have the price tag. So if they don't have a price tag, you might just need to dig a little deeper. You will always see the price prior to being charged, but you might just need to dig a little deeper. So like if I click, I don't even know one, but let's say Google pay-per-click and I click learn more, like this one, yeah, does not have the price right here. But if I click select website and add to KV Core, then it's going to give me my price. Right, and here's my Google advertising price that I can pick. So you might just need to click more before you get to what you're looking for. Yeah. Rosetta, great question. What happens if a lead returns a call to a texted smart number? So if you have your contacts in KV Core, if you are using, there are 2 versions of a smart number. There is a free version, which means that you share the smart number with other agents in your office. And then there's a paid version, which means that it's only for you. However, the way that it works is if I go to Jenna here, and I call Jenna, she calls me back, it goes to me. If I text Jenna and she texts me back, it goes to me as well. Even though Jenna is also in Brett's database because he met her at an open house, like she's my person from my farm. And so I communicate with her regularly in KV Core. So I text her, texts me back, call her, she calls me back. So it goes to whoever initiated that communication. Yeah, so good question. Good question. Any other questions? We've got about 1 minute left. All right, so just a quick reminder, lead CPR as an overall concept. Remember that you want to, after a dramatic pause, take some action, okay? Pick out a few templates that you would like to send or make your own today. Decide who you are going to send it to and decide how often you're going to attempt lead CPR, right? If your KV Core account is like really optimized for follow-up, everyone's on smart campaigns, everyone's on search alerts, you don't really need to do CPR unless you want to. I love doing it. Do it once a month, twice a month, right? Every Thursday, whatever you want, but decide how often that's going to be. If your account is not really like optimized for automation, that is, wow, okay, I'm done for the hour. Automatically nurturing your leads for you, then you probably want to CPR more often, right? So remember to pick out a few templates that you like. So we liked that website improvements. We liked the imported leads default email. Oop, let me go back one. I would take a quick screenshot of this. I'll pause for you. So these were the email templates that we liked. I jotted these down as we went. Remember to back up your email with a text or a phone call or a core video. Never just send an email. You always want to do a 1-2 punch. Okay. All right. And so decide again who you're going to contact. Bunch of people who you can contact here. Right. So contacts you've never called, contacts who've never visited your site, contacts who are not on search alerts or market reports or smart campaigns, or new leads that are more than a year old, or your sphere. Take a screenshot of this. And then decide what your follow-up is going to look like. Am I going to put them on smart campaigns? Am I going to, just let them float away? Am I going to start doing a monthly newsletter? Am I going to start sending out a featured property of the week? Combine that with my CPR action, right? Am I just going to let them again float away and do CPR in 2 months again? That's fine too. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. And I will see you all online. Thank you.